Well, think about the stellar plays that D-Shift can play, right? The one that I commonly bring up is Chimera followed by several wards that are built off of Golem
Right.
Assault. If you play Wizards of Oz followed by Twin Guardians, you get much the same effect. So it's a really nice tempo play, and it just really sticks to the board.
Oh my god.
You must die.
I never thought I'd see the day. A sword mirror. A sword mirror. It's happening again. All right, based off these starting hands and the particular sword decks that each of these people are playing, because it's a little bit different here, how do you guys think this matchup will play out? Who's got the upper hand?
Wow.
Well, that's going to come down to Odahime, right? So talk to me.
Yeah.
You've played mid-sword matchups a lot. What do you feel like really are the cards that you're looking for, and how you want to play this matchup?
All right. Well, Otohime is certainly a card you want in the mirror. Sword has a very difficult time, clearing full boards unless for some reason they're running Cyclone Blade, or they have like a bunch of really cheap rush followers they can use to trade. But other than that, like Sword has a really difficult time clearing boards. So Otohime is actually a really strong card in the matchup. And as we see, Fantasy's running he's running just cards that you just never see anymore.
That's true. That's true. We talked about Envy, and I talked about Aurelia yesterday, and she was talking about how good it used to be, but just it doesn't have a place anymore. Fantasy, of course, is opting to play her. Why do you think Aurelia is back? That's actually a card I have a question about. Why do you think you would play that card?
Well, he's also playing Gwaine, but let's actually address the Aurelia question. The reason I think Aurelia is coming back is because the game is kind of becoming more board centric again. Like, if you think about what happened in the previous patch where PDK was all over the place. You couldn't play Aurelia or anything like that in there. Now people are still playing PDK, but it's not as dominant as it once was. So people are bringing boards back. We see Mid Shadow coming back. We see people playing this style of mid sword, and we see aggro forest and stuff like that. And then you look at a card like Aurelia. Aurelia happens to be very good against those decks. And well, maybe not Mid Shadow because of what's it called? Lurching Corpse. But it's great against aggro sword, even mid sword or
aggro forest. Even aggro forest, I feel like it's exceptionally good against because they have to sacrifice so many resources just to get through it.
Exactly.
It might even constitute a board clear against aggro forest, to be honest.
Yeah.
And one thing I actually want to point out again, Captain Walfred. Okay. Now, Fantasy is doing my favorite thing and is using Gwaine with it so that you can actually Odahime into Captain Walfred as opposed to doing a Sage Commander play. And this can really take over board. Talk about the type of deck you want in a mirror. Fill the board, make them bigger, don't stop. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's exactly what Fantasy built, and he read that he was going to be playing against other mid-range decks and even possibly Sword in Gengur.
All right, so first off, Fantasy just a little bit of a pump. I think he's really happy about his hand.
Yeah, I would be. He's got the perfects.
Yeah. The second thing I want to bring up is exactly what Walfred does, because a lot of people are not familiar with it. Okay. So what it does is it gives +2/+2 to all ally followers, and then the officers gain ward. So all those Otohime bodyguards, they'd be like with 3/4s with ward after Walfred's played. Wow. Oh my goodness.
I also want to point out the fact that Staircase gets a lot better when you're generating a ton of followers in play. I mean, when you couple White Paladin with Odahime and Roundtable Assembly and Luminous Mage and just all these cards that can present multiple threats a turn, Staircase pops super quick.
Yeah. And his Staircase is already at 1. Next turn it'll pop down. I don't know what he's going to do next. He could actually just choose to do it now so he can draw. Okay, yeah. He can draw off of it next turn.
I like this, and this will set up his endgame. He already has the package, so even if this board is cleared, which it looks like it will be this turn, next turn Odahime, there's not going to be an easy answer to this Odahime.
No,
and then Captain Walfred. I can't wait. I cannot
I
wait
think
for this.
That's definitely happening, okay?
Yeah.
Gengur's hand is not equipped to handle this Otohime. It's just not.
The funny thing is, too, technically speaking, if there wasn't an enhanced cost on Staircase, because of the cost reduction on Gwaine, you can do a lot more things. Like, he had access to one other play point this turn. have done something with it, say if one of his followers died this turn, something like that. So Gwaine actually gives you a lot of flexibility. We don't talk about that card a lot. So
this is incredible. So he played Roundtable Assembly, got Mars in the White Paladin in the right order, mind you.
Yep.
Okay, he got it in the right order. So he'll be able to ward up. He'll be able, because he'll evolve the White Paladin. He'll be able to ward up, and he'll have plenty of wards to be able to stave off the aggression that's going to come next turn from the Captain Wolford.
However, longevity speaks, and those Captain Wolford pumps are going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
here we go.
These are.
Come on.
You know he's playing Wolford, dude. There's no way he's playing anything else. There's no way he's playing anything else. This is not something you would see very often, but Fantasy's bringing it to us, man.
I love it. This is great. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So Fantasy's actually taking the extra step in playing Gwaine that we haven't seen in the past. So we saw Captain Wolford kind of make a splash yesterday as a one-of, but when it's a core essential part of your strategy on top of Otahime, Gwaine bridges that gap of it costing 8 because it's a commander, reduces it down to 7 so you can play it on curve. So it makes this play super powerful.
Now, this is pretty interesting to me. Now we see that it kind of tables are turned a little bit. Gengur has a really nice board. He is going to have to trade with that Otohime's bodyguard, and I know he doesn't want to do it to Mars.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's just, I don't want to do that. I really don't. So it looks like the Storm might be taking a little bit of a trip to the, away, gone.
No, he is. Said 7-5 still left in play. So
yeah,
this has got to feel very scary for Gengur. And honestly speaking, after the pop of the Staircase to Paradise, we're talking about card quality. We're ahead on board. The one thing that Gengur does have up on him is he's ahead in life total this turn. So if he can propel that, especially because he's got 2 Fangblade Slayers to kind of push him kind of into that Albert range, if he can find an Albert in a short amount of time here to actually eke out a win here. But he's got to fight through an insane amount of wards, and this Wolford is not dying anytime soon.
No, I don't know how he plans to kill it. I don't see how he can. He can use this to take out the Aurelia, but like he's still got to eat through.
Mars Clash is still on that 1-2. Never mind. Okay, so there is still a way.
Right. That's that. You're right. You are 100% right. So he will be able to eat through this ward, and he will be able to take out the Wolfrid, but not without giving up a lot to do it.
Right. And it's kind of weird to be in a position as Sword where you're ahead, but you have to play reactively, right? Like he's got an 8-point life lead, but he's got to trade. He can't really afford to just forgo everything else.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you're Gengur, are you really considering going face here?
You know what? If I'm thinking like my opponent's got the card advantage on me, and I really have to find a way to eke out this win. Yeah, maybe the only way I can find a win here is by getting full advantage out of these Fangblade Slayers and realistically just top decking an Albert in a timely fashion and just hope he doesn't have a ward to stop me. So I think going face there is a proactive play and I like it. I think he realizes the spot he's in.
Well, he's in a really bad spot right now because there's another ward. There's another ward.
And there's plenty more where that came from, yeah.
Yeah, this is ward sword 100%. Now he can kill the Wolfrid. He can kill that.
A perfect draw. Whole soul swing right here. Perfect.
Yeah. So he can kill the Wolfrid and he can play the Fangblade Slayer. But I mean there's an Albert sitting there. There's still more wards.
Yep. Now, what's interesting is that, well, okay, there wasn't an easy way to deal with this Fangblade Slayer, but now Fantasy with the top deck of the Whole Soul Swing has an answer to it now. So this is where it gets interesting.
Now, we've been seeing, and I kind of want to touch on this. We've been seeing a lot more Whole Soul Swing recently, a lot less of Shield and Flame. You know, why do you think that is?
It's honestly just for board presence. I think that players are realizing that this is a more mid-range metagame, and if they're not eking out every single point of value they can get in their matchups, they're just falling behind. And yeah, Fantasy's card quality, the amount of boards, just shoving Gengur down into the little sword hole of not drawing anything that can deal with massive boards like this. But back to the point, it's just that it's value. You need value now. If you're not generating value, you might not, like, your whole soul swing is going to be a lot better against aggro force, for instance, right?
Right.
And whereas, you know, Shield of Flame isn't. It's going to clear off a fairy, and then you're going to be left with nothing behind it. So it's just a value game. You need to be there. I know it's kind of weird because dealing 3 versus dealing 2 is a big deal, especially with the outlet of being able to deal 6 with it. But I think you just need the early game advantage right now.
That's fair. Now, the last game played out pretty much the way we said. You know,
yep.
Otahime really took over the game, and that was it. Like, your Sword Mirror is like, Otahime, how do you deal with it? And then all the other stuff we played. But now we've got Shadow on fantasy side against the Sword list, and historically, you can correct me if I'm wrong, historically, Shadow's done pretty well against mid-sword.
Historically, very well, yes. And the reason that is because it presents bigger boards, just like we saw Fantasy do last game, that Sword really can't answer all the time. When you couple Prince Catacomb with a full board of, say, Chimera tokens, or just, you know, Skull Beasts and whatever else is lying around, Sword will try to trade into that, but more often than not, it has to go around it. It has to deal damage past everything because it can't effectively trade with the board and clear it off. And then that's where Ektar comes in and just kind of takes over the game.
Okay, so right now, Belinus has proven itself to be really good. I would be one of the first people to admit that when I saw Belinus, I was like, whatever. But it's been shutting me up a bit. Like, Belinus is a really good card.
I think it's perfect for Shadow. It gave it this, like, so before Mid Shadow had to choose between Dark Conjurer, you know, Lesser Mummy, you know, throw in random X 2-drop from Shadow just so it can fill out its 2-drop curve. I think Belinus fits right into the playstyle, and it gives you that little bit of extra advantage that it didn't have in the 2-drop slot. So I think the card is awesome.
That's fair. I mean, again, like, I've kind of come around. I looked at Belinus, I was like, all right. And then everyone's like, I'm going to be playing Belinus in my list. I'm like, why? And then now I know why.
Simply, it's just better than playing a Dark Conjurer on turn 2. Or a Lesser Mummy, or you name it. Like I said, random X Shadowcraft 2-drop, it is probably better on turn 2 than all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
By
probably,
Gengur,
I mean it is.
I don't think Gingur's in a particularly amazing spot right now. His hand's not looking particularly stellar. He doesn't really have a lot of options. You don't really want to play. Mars feels really bad when you're playing against Mid Shadow because it's just gonna die. So it just dies.
However, this top deck Luminous Mage feels really good. He didn't have a great play, but I think he drew into one.
Yeah. Alternatively, if he hadn't drawn that Luminous Mage, would you have considered just, you know, playing Albert? Or even
no,
like...
I think this turn would have been a Mars Veteran Lancer and possibly Evo the Mars. Well, actually, you know what? That would have generated enough shadows for Soul Squash to become active, so no. Can't do that. So probably just Mars and Veteran Lancer, and that's it. And then just pass.
Mm-hmm. So this plays around Soul Squasher a bit, which he just drew. How about that, right?
Perfect.
Hey, right
honestly,
on cue.
It's not even a bad play here. You can clear the entire board. You can set up a turn for Prince Catacomb next turn. This is a good board for Saris as well. However, you'd have to leave one of these followers behind, which is not really what you want to be doing. And actually, Saris is one thing I want to talk to you about. So I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, but talk to me about what it feels like playing as a sword player against an evolved Saris.
All right, so we did this. Okay, we actually played this matchup, me and Exodium, and when he pre-evoed Saris every game that he had it, and it felt miserable. Like, I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I can't deal with this.
It's really hard. Like, just think about every card that Sword has to try to, like, deal with cards like that. Like, Alweda's Command can't really deal with it rightfully because the 3/2 with Storm isn't going to be able to trade into it. Everything left over by Sword essentially has 2 or less toughness. Mars kind of helps with that, but even Albert, you know what I mean? Like, Albert might have to come in just to try to do some work, but he can't even finish Saris off by himself if Saris still has full HP, so it just gets really hard. That's where actually Shield of Flame came into play, so it actually had an answer to it, but like you said, players are electing to play Whole Soul Swing these days.
Well, another thing about Shield and Flame that kind of and we actually experienced this, me and you, when we were playing, is that the enhance effect can actually like really mess with your ability to win the game. So that's another reason for it. But this Prince Catacomb coming down, making a pretty sticky board, and you know we got this bird, you know, about to generate a lot of advantage.
Gotta call it ordering, Aya. We played the Prince Catacomb before we evolved the Andrew Elphus. Slight order, you know, but probably won't cost him too much here.
Well, nonetheless, this White Paladin's actually gonna come in pretty good, I think.
Yeah. This is the play. This is why you play mid-sword. This is it right here.
So, I remember a time when White Paladin was like, man, I'm never playing that card.
Trash can. Trash can.
Dumpster card. Straight dumpster. Yep. I'm never playing that card. And now with the advent of Mars, now you're like, hey, White Paladin.
Yeah, this is crazy value now, especially when coupled with a card like Roundtable Assembly. I feel like Mars and Roundtable Assembly really turned White Paladin around. It became a card that nobody played. Maybe you would see a copy of it or two in a control sword list of old just to deal with, you know, some kind of board states. But now it's a 3 of alongside of the Mars and Roundtable Assembly package. So it's definitely shown that it's back.
You know, there's just a touch on Mars a little bit. One of the things about Mars that gets me isn't the +0/+1, but it's the clash +1/+0. That's crazy to me. It's crazy.
It's one of the only cards in the game, unlike Wood of Brambles, that basically takes the effect away when it leaves. Mars just gives it to the follower. So it's just there from now on, which is very strong. Yes, very, very much agreed on that one. That's a crazy effect.
Yeah, those types of effects, I hope that there are, like, maybe in future expansions, we can see more effects like that. The ones that, you know, give it to the follower instead of being on itself. I hope we can see more.
What's funny is Wood of Brambles, when you actually look at the wording of it, doesn't seem like it would go away when it leaves play. So Side Games, I'm looking at you. Correct that wording, okay? because it confuses me. I'm sure it confuses other players. But yes, very strong effect nonetheless.
Now, Fantasy just did a ton of damage last turn with the Immortal Thane and the Skeletons, and the Whites, like, and I mean a lot of damage. I'm really, I don't know what to really think about his position at the moment. I mean, I don't think he's any real.
I think Gengur has this game locked up. I think if even an Ektar this turn isn't going to save Fantasy. Gengur put together a board. That White Paladin essentially solidified the board, stopped any Ektar play from Fantasy, and if you look at the health totals, all he needs to do is get that Albert a swing in. So this is the big change right here. Of course, we see Death's Breath come down. We see all the wards come down. So if he can manage to fight through this, I feel like the Albert's just going to steal the game. And I don't think that Fantasy's anywhere close to winning this game.
Well, I don't know if he's necessarily close to losing it, but he's not close to winning it. Let's see what Gengur can play Albert to clear 2 zombies.
Yes.
But then he still has to clear the 4/5. I guess he could do that with the Lancer and one of the wards.
Yeah, I believe he can clear the entire board this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So Albert comes down and clears out 2 of the wards, and then Kahulin plus Mars deals with the 4/5 ward. No, okay, so never mind. So 1 ward and the Soul Squasher will still have to be left in play, unless he uses the Evo point on something else and gets rid of it.
I don't think he needs the Evo here because he's not pushing face, so he can get away with simply not Evoing and just. And this Albert's gonna get really big, by the way. So he doesn't even need. He doesn't even need. It gets really big because of the clash effect. So
it doesn't stop either, guys. This does not stop.
Nope, that's a big boy, okay?
So Albert is always lethal now.
Yeah. He has to kill this Albert. He has to find a way to kill it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Evo is a smart choice here to clear board because of that Albert play. Now there's a ward protecting the Albert. Albert is right there to actually just cause lethal by itself now. No other damage needs to happen.
Right. This is one of the really amazing things about Mars. This is something that didn't exist with, before with Albert, where he could clear board and then buff himself. That didn't happen before, It happens now. It's crazy. And this Albert, he's dead. Yeah.
Didn't have just under the amount of shadows he needed to get that Ektar to wipe the board.
Wait, this isn't game. This is only 11 damage.
Oh, so it doesn't keep... Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, because it's a clash effect.
So it's a clash effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So never mind. I misspoke.
Yeah. So this isn't game, but I think it is actually. Well, he only needs 1 damage, and can he? Oh no, he can clear.
This Ektar actually stops it. So for some reason, I don't know why, I thought that Albert was going to keep growing when it attacks face, but only when it attacks followers. So didn't quite get big enough to finish off the game. So now he's actually got to get lucky to get this 1 damage in.
Needs 1 damage. Only needs 1. It's not impossible. Not impossible. That's not it though. That's not 1 damage.
I'm sorry, Gengur. I thought you had this in the bag. I completely forgot. Clash, not just attack.
Yeah. It's okay, EXO.
It's alright. Sometimes, okay? First match of the day is just, shake the cobwebs off. That's all.
Hey, this Odile is going to come in real good if... Oh, wait, he's not playing that. This is fine, too. I like
it. Needs to, yeah. Odile can come down to finish off the game with the extra 2 damage.
I hate Immortal Thane, dude.
Immortal Thane is pretty busted. Busted's the wrong word. It's not busted. It's just really, really good, especially with the cards that Shadow has access to it, like the Soul Conversion. Yeah. Now he gets a free ward. So even if he was in a losing position, now Gengur actually just has to top deck something that can fight through a ward, which is not easy.
I hate Immortal Thane. I don't think I can reiterate that in any different manner. This is the way that he's playing this out, that Fantasy's playing this out. I don't know if there's a way. I don't think Gengur can win this game.
Unless Gengur have a Fangblade Slayer in his deck. If he does, he can win the game with it.
No, he definitely does. We saw that last game. So Fangblade Slayer would be his out. Yeah, so Fangblade is his out.
That's right. He's playing 2 of them. Yeah, he's playing 2.
But see, the thing is, he can't kill anything on the board, so Fangblade would be his only way because whites are on board. So he got it.
I believe because of active play. The Fangblade Slayer effect would happen first and he'd win the game. No. But Fantasy, we can see it on his face. He's happy. I'm sorry, Fantasy. You had that one locked up the whole time. All right? You had that one in the bag.
Hey, man.
Immortal Thane is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty good card. I mean, he on that turn, it was out of hand, right?
Yep.
I think his Immortal Thane just did like 6 damage or